Relationships are key. They are the most important part of the work that we do. When we look at the world's population of 7 million people, even dividing that down into people groups, and whether your people group is 500 people or 50 million people, you have to meet those people. And where do we do it? How do you go about that? What I believe, and I'm going to be putting forth here in this presentation and throughout this course, is that it's not a matter of attracting people to us, but for us going out meeting with the people. If we step back and look at the large population of some cities and countries in the world, in this case looking at Nigeria, and the bus stations where hundreds of thousands of people meet together, sometimes it can seem to us that it may be impossible, or even deciding where to begin to meet people is a very difficult proposition. Even when we look down at the smaller groups of people in certain segments of a town or a village, we need to realize that people are different. They have different interests, they have different concerns, but yet those are the target people. We need to find ways to meet them. Where do these people groups hang out, and where can we become involved in their lives? Discovering where these people hang out and going there and creating relationships with them is both the beginning of our work as church planters, and it is the crux, the very most important part of our work. Meeting people where they naturally are, where it's comfortable for them. We're the outsider with a new message, and we're the ones who need to be able to feel comfortable in their settings where they live and where they hang out. Whether it's in very large population centers where the streets are teeming with people, there's still places where people normally meet together, where they have relationships that they have had for years, and it may go back to their villages and where they were born, or maybe relationships that they have created here in these big urban centers. Or it may be in the more industrialized, more formal settings of the world like we have here in the United States. People meet together, they have relationships, they are friends, they feel comfortable with one another. Our task is to become a part of that friendship, become a part of those relationships, and for we to feel comfortable in their setting, and for them to feel comfortable with us as well in that setting. Where do we find these people? That's our task, and that's the discovery we're on right now. As we've already seen in the life of our Lord Jesus, and also in the Apostle Paul, they met people where they were at. And this is not just because we want to be friendly with people, but this is an example that was put forth by our Lord and by those who were the first church planters in this great movement that we find ourselves in right now. And so we're on a journey, and you will be on a journey during this course to discover where people meet in the city or in the area in which you live from different ethnic groups, but also when you get to the field, wherever that is to discover where people meet and be a part of that meetup. Who is it that we're going to meet? As we look at the cities of the world, even here in the United States, any large area, geographical area where people meet together, whether it's on the streets or in the markets, there are people from all different backgrounds, different gender, different age, different experiences in life. What we're most concerned about in church planting is understanding where different people groups meet. And you've had an assignment in the last week to look at the people groups in your area where you're living right now, and we're going to be trying to discover in this week where those particular people groups hang out. And as you can see in the couple of pictures that we have right here, we in the United States, and probably every large urban center in the world, is where people of many, many different ethnic groups, many different people groups come together. It is for us to try and discover where do the individual people groups, ethnic groups, hang out among people who are like themselves, who speak similar languages, who have similar life experiences, have had several adjustment problems or several um, different ways of relating to people that are particular to them as a people group? Where do they hang out? Finding out where they hang out is the first step. The next is to find a way in which to introduce ourselves into that group. It's fairly common around the world that people of different ethnic groups meet together to eat. Eating is a social event. Eating is not a matter of just getting nourishment, but also learning what's been going on in people's lives, to bond together, to share our relationships together. One of the best places to meet people here in this American context from different ethnic groups is to go to restaurants that serve the food of a particular ethnic group. There are a large number of those available in every large urban center of the world. I have enjoyed often eating in Ethiopian restaurants because of my love for African peoples, and it is a great place to go and meet people. And you find people normally in these ethnic restaurants are very open to visitors being with them. And so this fella who is meeting there with them right now is obviously an outsider just by his complexion, but he's become a part of this group. And we too can be a part of groups like this one. You might start with the yellow pages and begin to look at different ethnic restaurants in your area. Or you might use these nice little GPS oriented apps that they now have on our cell phones that show you different restaurants in your area and identify the ethnic restaurants there. Just drive around your neighborhood and find out where the ethnic restaurants are. Those are great places to meet people of the different ethnic groups of your area. Indian restaurants are many. There are Thai restaurants. There are Hispanic restaurants. There are Eastern European restaurants. Whatever ethnic group it is that you're looking at, people group, you can find restaurants that serve that kind of cuisine from that part of the world, and you will find at least the best ones will be populated with people of those ethnic groups. You can spend some time there this week and discover those people. And remember that you're there not just to have a great experience of dining and ethnic food, but there to meet some people. So this is going to take some extrovert experience on your part to just say hello to some people, to share your name, and share maybe something about your enjoyment of their food and your appreciation of this restaurant being there. And by just introducing yourself and some general greetings in the beginning will allow you to begin this relationship with them. They'll ask you some questions and you can begin to share. Often these people meet in these eating establishments on a regular basis, and you may become, over time, a part of one of those groups that meet together. It may well be at first you find it easier to talk to some of the workers or the owners of the restaurant and just introduce yourself and tell about your dining experience. I would say that right from the very beginning, at least in these initial conversations with these people, you don't mention that you're taking a class, or I would not even begin to talk about Christianity or your relationship with the Lord in the beginning. We don't know yet. You don't know yet for sure what these people's background is, what their previous experience has been with Christian people. Right here at the outset, you're just trying to create a relationship that will allow you to say other things as this relationship grows closer. There are more public, open places where people meet together from similar ethnic groups. Just take some time during this week to go in some of the parks, some of the open air malls, um, bus stops, and other places where people gather together out in the open in your town or your area. And you will see people who have similarities, who have commonalities, and often that is an ethnic commonality, meet together. That happens all over the world. As you can see in these pictures, different ethnic groups meet together, different age groups meet together, and often they meet at these same places on a regular basis. Be a student of where people hang out, particularly the different ethnic groups than yourselves in the part of the world where you find yourself right now. Sure, we could stand up with a megaphone and announce that we're present and we're going to be showing a film. We could have a building and put a big billboard outside inviting people in. But that's not what we're about as church planters. It's creating relationships with people where they most commonly congregate themselves. We're the outsider, and we want to be a part of their group. Often we fall into the trap of thinking that we already have an established church. We have people of various ethnic groups, or the particular ethnic group in which we are working among. We have them coming to where we're at. But it's been my experience of what most church planters who have been a part of multiplying church movements say is that most of the people who come to us are on the fringes. There are still many people of those ethnic groups who would never even think about coming into the walls of our buildings or under the tree in which we commonly meet to worship. That we need to be going out and discovering where these places are that people meet. Even experienced church planters who've worked for many years among one ethnic group continue to be on the lookout for gathering points of people of their ethnic group and trying to be a part of those meeting places. Sometimes we think that the workplace is not a place to meet somebody, particularly if we are not workers in that particular profession. But many workplaces in different parts of the world happen out in the open air. And these are often gathering places. We see these shoe shine people in Africa. People not only come there to get their shoes shined, but they talk about what's going on in the world, the politics, the sports, what's happening with their family, what happened just down the street in the neighborhood last night. And they often gather together there at a regular time, every day or maybe once or twice a week. We have one church planting missionary in Africa who asked an older gentleman where he could meet people of the ethnic group that he was wanting to reach. And he said, well, I meet together with people of that ethnic group on every Tuesday down by the shoe shine stand at 9 o'clock in the morning. So be on the lookout. Some of these places are not eating places. They are not out in the parks in the open air where people just sit around. It may be even while some people are working and other people are being helped, that those are gathering places. And you can often just sit down and listen and begin to have conversations with the people and be a part of those groups as well. In some parts of the world, these workers have apprentices working under them. They're used to large crowds, and you will see sometimes a large crowd, you would think everybody's apprentice, but some people are just standing around visiting with the people, and they're a part of that group. We might think that we're interfering in the work of the people, but work in many professions is a social event and not just tasks to be finished. Often where these people normally hang out are not the places that we're used to hanging out, whether it's in the hookah bars or in the beer halls or out in open air restaurants where people meet together at lunchtime or in the evening after work, or whether it's the early morning get together over tea or coffee, or whether it's under the tree during the down seasons of the year. This week, find out where the people meet.